Okay, so for this video, we're gonna learn essentially the information about the level editor, like what are we looking at when we are in the software. So this right here is gonna be your level editor, like all of these that we have here for our first project. Now, what I'm gonna explain is what of each of these components mean, okay? So to start the level editor is just this whole window, this whole UI. That's what we're gonna call the level editor. Then this window, the one that has the level, this one right here, that's what is called the viewport. So whenever we talk about the viewport, it's basically the visual representation of the game where we are gonna be designing our game and then eventually run it. Okay? So then after that we have the toolbar. The toolbar is this upper bar right here. This toolbar is very useful because it has a lot of important commands that we're gonna need. What are some of them? The saving. You see, you have the saving symbol here. Here you have a folder symbol that I'm gonna explain later. Here is gonna be to create objects. I'm gonna talk about creating objects on the later on. And then here, very important, how to run our programs. So if we click on this green symbol, the level starts, and then we can basically interact in the viewport with the game. And then you can press the escape key and then the game stops. Okay, so we have the viewport, we have the toolbar here in the top, then in the bottom we have the content drawer, or we can also call it content browser. So let me actually move it a little bit. The content browser is going to basically have all the files, all the assets that are used in the game. Okay, so this all folder is where all our documents are gonna be. And now, as you can see, on the content folder, we have the level itself, okay? I'm gonna be talking later on about the content browser, how to properly navigate through it. But for now, just need to know this is where your files regarding your program are gonna be at. And as you can see, if you click the symbol from the toolbar up here, you're basically pulling that content browser to make it more visible, right? Okay. Now, what else do we have in this UI? We also have the details panel. Well, let me actually start with this one, the outliner. So the outliner, the one that we have here on the right, it's where all the components, all the objects that are gonna be used on the game are gonna be at. For example, this floor that we have here, you see, we have it named in that way. This floor is this object, right? Like, let me just zoom out a little bit just so you guys can see it. You see? All of this right here is the floor. So when I select the floor, that's the object on the right referring to that. Then we have the player start, which is the object representing the player here in the middle. As you can see, that capsule there. So as you can see, you can basically go through the objects of the game on the outliner. So that's where you're gonna be basically organizing all the objects within the level. And then now finally we have the details panel. The details panel is this one that we have on the right, but more towards the bottom. This one is gonna be basically to explain information about the object we're selecting. So let's say I selected the floor, right? Like I have the floor here selected. Then I have the details panel that talks about the information about that floor. Always about the specific item we're selecting. Let's say I'm gonna select the player start, then the detail panel talks information about player start. So it's always about the object you are selecting. That's what the details panel is going to explain. Okay, now another thing that I forgot to mention is that whenever we are on this UI, we can always change the size of our panels. We can move this to the right, move this upward, the content browser as well. We can move it up or down. So it's very personalized how you wanna do it. And let's say that, for example, you close something, you close all these things, and now you don't know how to get them back. That's a very common issue when you're starting on. Don't worry, you just go to Window, you go on Load Layout, and then you can click on Default Editor Layout, and then it's gonna have kind of like a refresh for a second, and then as you can see, everything that was originally there is gonna be back on the game. Okay, so anytime that you feel that you messed up with the UI, don't worry, Window, Load Layout, Default Editor Layout, that's gonna reload everything as it was before.